Hello and welcome to Lore Lodge Mysteries, Enigmatic Answers, Beyond Miracles. In this episode 3, we will take our listeners on a journey into the world of faith and belief through two captivating stories. Our first story, From Disrespect to Devotion, will explore the mysteries of intention and the consequences of karma, prompting us to reconsider our actions in daily life. Following that, our second story, The Mystery of Death from the Shadow of the Serpent, will present an intriguing tale of the connection between life and death through strange events that occur in one family. Both these stories will make us contemplate things beyond our understanding and may cause us to view the world from a different perspective. We invite our listeners to prepare themselves and join us on this journey into the world of mystery together. Let's begin with our first story, From Disrespect to Devotion. From Disrespect to Devotion, a tale of unintended consequences. The Criminal Code, Section 59, states that a person shall be criminally liable only when they have committed an act intentionally, except when the act is committed through negligence or in cases where the law clearly stipulates liability even for unintentional acts. However, in the realm of beliefs and spirituality, the rules may not always be so clear-cut. The following story will take us on a journey exploring the fine line between intentional and unintentional actions, through the experiences of a group of children in Ep3 province. Their inappropriate behavior, born from youthful recklessness, led to a tragic loss of a friend, and ultimately to the discovery of true faith. This tale will make us realize that even though some actions may not stem from malicious intent, their consequences can impact lives in unexpected ways. This incident occurred several years ago. A Chinese language teacher, who once taught at a school in Ep3 province, recounted the story to the author. 7 8th grade students went swimming in a village pond, excavated by a backhoe to a depth of over 5 meters. Tragically, one student drowned. Teachers and students attended the funeral, as per tradition. After the funeral, the area where the student drowned became known as a haunted spot. Many villagers reported seeing the child's spirit sitting by the roadside at dusk. When concerned passers-by asked why the child wasn't going home, the chilling response was, "I can't go home. I died here." These sightings made locals afraid to pass the area at night unless absolutely necessary. Some made merit for the child's spirit, but the apparitions persisted. People speculated that it was the karmic burden of a child who died too young, unable to move on. Later, multiple villagers dreamed of the local shrine's guardian spirit, revealing the cause of the tragedy. The spirit requested that the students apologize at the shrine for their disrespectful behavior, revving their motorcycles loudly in front of it. Some dreams even warned that the drowned child would claim the lives of his friends, one by one, according to their birthdays. Coincidentally, the drowned child was born on a Sunday, and his friends were born on every other day except Friday. When confronted, the surviving students admitted to their actions. They recalled how, on that fateful day, they had ridden their motorcycles around the village. The student who drowned had indeed revved his engine disrespectfully in front of the shrine, speaking irreverently. Shortly after, while swimming, they all mysteriously lost strength. Though most managed to reach the shore, they couldn't save their larger friend. The remaining students planned to apologize at the shrine after hearing the villagers' dreams and warnings from teachers. However, before they could do so, another tragedy struck. A second student died in a motorcycle accident, his skull fractured from not wearing a helmet. This happened exactly 100 days after the first death. Notably, the second victim was born on a Monday. These untimely deaths left unfinished business. The Chinese teacher had confiscated a non-regulation jacket from the second victim the day before, promising its return. A female student had received a mobile phone as a gift from him, a token of their budding romance. Ironically, it was while going to buy phone credit that he met his fatal accident, just 20 meters from his home. On the first day after his death, the girl received 2 silent calls from his number. On the third call, her mother answered, saying, "Don't worry about her." The phone never rang again. The teacher and the girl later placed the jacket and phone in the boy's coffin, seeking mutual forgiveness. At the second funeral, discussions about the shrine's curse and the drowned boy's vengeance were rife. Some believed the guardian spirit only wanted the first boy's life for his direct disrespect, but that boy now wanted all his friends to join him. A monk from Klong Kachin Temple, aware of the situation, advised the remaining students to apologize at the shrine, if only for peace of mind. He encouraged them to do good deeds and make merit for protection. The students planned to do so after ordaining briefly for their friends' funeral rites. The Chinese teacher reflected that this incident stemmed from teenage recklessness and a lack of understanding of right and wrong. Many in the group didn't intend to disrespect the sacred shrine but were present without objecting, thus sharing responsibility for what happened. The teacher also admitted that moral and religious education had weakened significantly. Modern education focuses more on academics, neglecting traditional values, manners, humility, and ethics. This has led to more aggressive behavior in children. Some students excel academically but behave poorly, yet are promoted due to their academic prowess, while others struggle both academically and behaviorally. This tragic series of events, reducing 7 students to 5, profoundly impacted the school community. The remaining students became more spiritually aware, frequenting temples, observing precepts, listening to Dharma teachings, and showing greater respect to elders. Their carefree days of roaming ended, replaced by a focus on studies and making merit at every opportunity. Although the 5 remaining friends had apologized to the sacred shrine, anxiety lingered in their hearts. Nevertheless, it made them more cautious and drew them closer to religion than before. According to the criminal code, an offense must consist of intention, foresight of consequences, and action to be considered a complete crime. Exceptions are made for unintentional acts committed through negligence, which can still be punishable by secular law. However, the law of karma, as explained by Buddhadasa Bhikkhu, states, "The law of karma means that every action must have a reaction, or karmic result. If an action is done with intention and feeling, it's called karma, and its result is called vipaka or karmic fruit. If an action is done without intention, it's not called karma but kiriya, and its result is called a reaction." So, what did these children receive? The first child acted with intentional disrespect, both in thought and deed. This is considered an intentional act, or karma. The other children's actions, whether intentional or not, exist in their minds. Even if unintentional, the result is a reaction. They received the consequences of their actions according to their deeds. The karma they created was repaid, while the reaction was a reflection of their mental suffering. In secular terms, if we have intention or not, but restrain from wrongdoing or correct our mistakes, the legal offense is reduced. However, in spiritual terms, even if we have intention or not, but restrain from wrongdoing or correct our actions, the spiritual offense is not reduced because merit remains merit, and sin remains sin. But the result of knowing right from wrong creates mindfulness in living life without negligence, accepting the results of good and bad deeds with awareness. The mystery of death from the shadow of the serpent. In the hushed silence of a moonless night, on a long dirt road stretching towards a distant village, fate sometimes plays tricks on us, bringing us face to face with the unexpected. Such is the case for Noi, a young woman traveling back to her hometown to visit her gravely ill grandmother. Little did she know that this journey would lead her to confront a chilling truth. The story about to unfold is not merely a tale of love and bond between a grandmother and her granddaughter, but a profound lesson on the law of karma, forgiveness, and the mysterious connection between the world of the living and the dead. Prepare yourself to dive into the perplexing mystery of death that comes with the shadow of a serpent, which may challenge your beliefs and perspective on this world once again. The dirt road stretching towards a distant rural village was unusually quiet this evening. Rarely did a car pass by. Noi drove alone to visit her relatives, particularly her gravely ill grandmother who wished to see all her grandchildren before death claimed her. The 84-year-old grandmother, paralyzed for over 10 years and cared for by Noi's aunt, had refused to stay in the hospital, preferring to die at home. The village entrance road was poor, full of potholes and without streetlights, slowing Noi's journey. Her second-hand car jolted along for a while before the engine sputtered and died. Frustrated, Noi tried to restart it several times, but to no avail. "Damn it! Why now?" "I'm in a hurry," Noi grumbled. The headlights remained on, illuminating the immediate area. The village lights were about 2 kilometers away. "Can I walk that far?" "It's so desolate and scary," she wondered. Noi opened the hood, knowing she couldn't fix anything. She closed it, turned off the headlights, and fumbled for a small flashlight, deciding to walk. "Whoa! Thad!" Noi tripped, dropping the flashlight. Luckily, its faint light revealed what had startled her, causing her to slip and fall. But what she saw next shocked her even more. Hiss! The long, dark shape reflected the light, its eyes flashing green for a moment. Noi was speechless, the world seeming to stop spinning. The creature was less than a meter away. Suddenly, a motorcycle approached. Its headlight didn't make Noi look away from the creature. "Stay still. Don't move," the motorcyclist said, realizing Noi's predicament. He parked, grabbed a nearby stick, and sneaked behind the creature, striking it repeatedly until all was quiet. "How did you end up staring at a cobra like that?" Noi's uncle asked. "Uncle, how did you get here? It's like you knew I was in danger. Your mother said you'd be coming tonight. I thought it was dark, so I waited at the crossroads to accompany you. I was a bit late, though. You'd already come this far." "Not late at all, Uncle." "Perfect timing," Noi said, dusting off her pants before mounting the motorcycle, ignoring the remains of the troublesome creature. "What about your car?" "It won't start." "Let me take a look." Uncle walked to the car and asked for the keys. Suddenly, the old car roared to life. "There's nothing wrong with it," Uncle said. They arrived at grandmother's house, which seemed busy with lights on and many people around, relatives and close villagers visiting and inquiring about her condition. Noi washed up before going to pay respects to her grandmother and mother. Grandmother lay on a mattress on the polished wooden floor, wearing her usual sarong and long-sleeved shirt. She refused to use a blanket, with only a small towel covering her chest. Her body was emaciated, skin dry and rough, her long hair brittle. Noi's mother had mentioned long ago that grandmother refused to cut her hair, treasuring it most in life. "You're here, Noi." Grandmother's hoarse voice greeted her. Noi felt a tear drop onto grandmother's foot as she bowed. "Grandma." Noi had many words in her heart, but could only utter one before embracing her grandmother. Grandmother stroked her beloved granddaughter's hair briefly until Noi's mother gently pulled her away. Grandmother smiled at Noi before closing her eyes. Noi held her hand, noticing the dry skin that seemed to peel in small patches rather than flaking. "Mom, do you have lotion? I want to apply it to Grandma. Her skin is so dry." "I've already applied some, dear. Her skin has been like this for just a few days. She's restless at night, like, have you eaten yet? I'll prepare some food for you." Mother changed the subject and left. Noi watched her mother leave, confused, before turning back to gaze at her grandmother with a heavy heart. She knew there was no hope, but couldn't accept it. The once full face and kind smile now lay still on the small pillow. With no teeth left, grandmother's lips were sunken, looking frightening, but Noi could only smile. This was the nature of human mortality. "How many more days does Grandma have, Mom?" Noi asked while eating dinner at 11 p.m. "She's suffering so much. I just want her to be free from this pain," Mother replied, her voice breaking as she wiped away tears. "All the relatives are here now. I guess Grandma has nothing to worry about anymore," Uncle chimed in. "Quick! Come help hold her down." A shout came from upstairs. Mother and Uncle rushed off, with Noi following closely behind. The scene that greeted them was grandmother's body writhing and twisting. No, it looked more like slithering. Everyone tried to hold her down as she moaned. Noi stood frozen, shocked by what she saw. It took a while for grandmother to calm down, breathing heavily. Those watching were equally breathless. "Noi!" Mother called her closer to grandmother. "Mom, don't worry about anything." Mother bent down to speak to grandmother. Aunt and uncle massaged her nearby. Grandmother's breathing became softer and slower. "Mom, chant Buddo," Mother instructed. Noi held grandmother's hand as the other grandchildren gathered around. Grandmother's lips moved slightly. "Mom, Buddo, Buddo," Mother repeated to grandmother. Her brain seemed to still register this, even as her heart grew weaker. "Buddo." These were grandmother's last words. Grandmother's funeral had passed, amidst the sorrow and grief of relatives. However, the events of that night still lingered in Noi's mind. After grandmother's passing, everyone was busy preparing for the funeral, leaving no time to discuss the mysterious occurrences. Perhaps Noi was the only one who noticed these abnormalities. "Mom, I'm puzzled about what happened to Grandma," Noi said. "What do you mean?" Mother asked calmly. Grandma was slithering like a snake before she died, and her mouth was curved just like a snake's. Mother paused for a moment, then met Noi's eyes with a wry smile. "It wasn't just before death, Noi. Grandma's skin was peeling like snake scales. She was in burning pain and writhing in agony, suffering more at night than during the day. The week before she passed, your aunt and I invited monks to sprinkle holy water, but it didn't help. They said it was a karmic illness, a retribution for past actions. Your grandmother used to kill many snakes, fearing they would harm people in the house. She killed both small and large ones. Don't you remember? Mother asked. Childhood memories surfaced. Grandmother's house was in an orchard where snakes sometimes entered. Whenever the grandchildren saw a snake, they would run to tell grandmother. When grandfather was alive, he didn't interfere, only chanting prayers. It was always grandmother who would grab a stick and immediately kill the snake. She even taught the children not to be afraid, saying that if you see a snake, you must kill it, or it will come back to harm you. Mom, didn't the monks suggest any solution? Noi asked. There is a solution, if we had known earlier. It involves chanting, meditation, and dedicating merit to them. Making merit could have lessened the severity, Mother explained. Didn't you do this for Grandma? Your aunt and I made merit for them every day, child. But karma is personal. Grandma's paralysis was also karma. Before death, they came to collect again. It's fortunate that her suffering lasted only about a week, probably because we made merit for them. Grandma has gone to a better place now, with Buddha guiding her. Mom, Uncle also killed a snake that night, Noi mentioned. Which night? The night I came back to see Grandma. I encountered a snake, and Uncle killed it. The next day, Noi parked her car at the spot where she had seen the snake that night. There was no trace of the snake's remains, only a conveniently sized stick lying there, the one Uncle had used to kill it. Noi lit 9 incense sticks, asking for forgiveness from that snake, to absolve the karma. This is a story told by Noi, a relative of the writer. She later explained that the snake might have come to warn her about grandmother, and she asked for its forgiveness. No one knows if the snake's vengeance will return to Noi, who was partly responsible for its death, or to Uncle who killed it. Nevertheless, the writer, the relatives, and Noi herself firmly believe that the karmic result causing grandmother's agonizing death was indeed the consequence of her actions towards snakes. That concludes our mysteries, enigmatic answers. Beyond Miracles for Episode 3. The paths of people's lives are all different. If you don't want to miss out on more great stories and mysteries that are hard to explain, don't forget to like, follow, and support us. Thank you for listening.